Hello, good morning. I'm so excited to be here today. And today we're going to talk about what to do when you want to numb stress. So, alcohol, because it's a tool that you could use for so many things. And I think in so many ways we have grown up to think that alcohol does so much for us. That it makes us more fun people, that it makes us more relaxed, that it helps us socialize, that it helps us sleep. And when you look at the science behind alcohol, it actually doesn't actually allow you to do a lot of those things. It doesn't help you sleep more, it doesn't relax you more, and it might even make socializing you feel more unconfident and insecure over time. But if one thing it does pretty well, it's to numb. So alcohol used to be used as an anesthetic. They used to use it for surgeries back in the day before we had, our modern ways of using morphine or whatever. And so alcohol is an anesthetic. Its job is to numb. And so many of us have fallen into a pattern where life is super stressful and the kids and just so much is going on, so much cacophony in our lives. We just want some peace and quiet. And so we escape with alcohol to numb some of the stress. And so today I'm going to kind of talk about this concept of how to find other ideas to do when you want to just get away from it all, but also how to listen to some deeper messages that are coming from your life about what needs to be shifted and where you really want to find more peace and harmony in your life. So if we haven't met yet before, my name is Karolina Jodkowalska. I'm an alcohol-free life coach, and I'm the author of the new book, Euphoric Ditch Alcohol and Gain a Happier, More Confident You. It just got on bookshelves last week, and it's just been an incredible ride sharing this book with more people. I'm so proud of it, and if you haven't gotten your copy yet, be sure you do, because it will change your entire worldview on alcohol. It will really change a lot of the things you previously believed and really help make you make sense of your relationship with alcohol, and also give you a beautiful guidance forward to feel so empowered, so inspired, and so like you're chasing the biggest, most beautiful version of yourself when you decide to take a break. And so I hope you do pick up the copy of your book, Euphoric, and if you already have your copy, be sure to tag me on social media with it. I'd love to repost it, so just tag me at euphoric.af on Instagram, and we'll definitely repost your post as you share the book or a cover of it or whatever, whatever you feel comfortable with. But back to today's live. So today we're going to answer the question of, when you want to just get away from it all. We leave these such productive lives. We are literally, our society, our modern society is just go, 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 go every single day. And we usually, as women as well, juggle a zillion balancing plates on our hands. Like not only is there the career, there's the equality that comes obviously with women's empowerment movements, but we juggle the same, expectations as men do, to rise up in our careers, to do really good work, to get promotions, maybe to have our own business, whatever it is. And yet at the same time, a lot of the responsibilities at home haven't left our plate. So, women to this day still do way more unpaid labor than men do. They do about 3 or 4 times as much unpaid labor. And, that might be more responsibilities around the home. There might be a lot more to do. There might be just a lot of mental housework as well, like thinking of all the lists and the groceries and the permission slips. And it's just so much. It weighs on us so much. And what happens in our society is that the alcohol industry has literally come in and told women, oh, you have all this stress in your life, all this craziness. Why don't you have a glass of wine at the end of the day? That will solve everything. And we've literally bought into this assumption, and now there's an entire culture around it called mommy juice. And it is really sad, because we do need a lot of support and we do need guidance, and we as women need so much more than a glass of wine at the end of the day. But when you are using alcohol as a way to numb the stress, there's so many ways of finding new ways to take care of and soothe yourself. So as you are going about your busy life and your busy day, first of all, your sympathetic nervous system is basically like on fire all day. And it's almost like an adrenal overload that's happening. And so, most people that, come home and have a glass of wine at the end of the day, it literally is an attempt to soothe that sympathetic nervous system and to just like chill out for a little bit. And the thing is that alcohol scientifically does not really do that to your body. Scientifically, it actually raises the level of anxiety in your body. It's tied to anxiety on a molecular level, they found. And it also increases the release of stress hormones in your body. So it releases cortisol and adrenaline and dynorphin in your body, which actually really stress your body out even more. and will leave you feeling with those stressed out feelings. Those stress hormones are stay in your body for anywhere from a few days to a whole week or two after drinking. So, I remember so many days where I would come home from a really busy day at work, maybe it was like Thursday or Friday, and I just couldn't wait to pour the glass of wine. And the thing is that as I, was drinking to try to relieve the stress, what ended up happening is I'd wake up the next morning with more stress. The stress got compounded because not only did I not resolve the thing I was stressed out about the day before, now I woke up feeling worse for wear. Now I woke up with maybe a headache, or maybe I didn't sleep well, or I just feel slightly off. You know how you could feel after drinking. It's not your best, right? Nobody wakes up feeling their best after drinking. And so my stress that was like a medium mountain actually became an even bigger mountain after a night of drinking. And you also wake up with absolutely no stamina to face the day. It's like, I remember waking up after drinking and I was just like, can I just hide somewhere? Can I just like not deal with life today? And so that is really important to recognize as well, that alcohol is not actually helping increase any sense of your resilience to handle the things that come your way. So what I'm going to talk about is some ideas to use when you do want to just get away from it all, and how you can do that, even when you have a busy life and you might have a lot of responsibilities at home. And also the deeper message that maybe the stress and the emotions are trying to tell you. So first of all are some ideas, like when you are doing that adrenal overload, when you're just like go, go, go all day, how can you finally relax at the end of the night? So first of all, it's even recognizing that your day is so go, go, go in the first place. And a lot of times we can actually redesign what our days can look like and put a little bit of rest back into them. So for example, I'll work with clients and we'll even practice things like, okay, is there a morning routine that you have? Because a morning routine really can ground you for the day. A morning routine almost sets you up to feel so much more prepared, and like you really spent time focusing on you, and you're able to journal or exercise or do whatever you wish. And it's almost like that peace and quiet that you get from that morning routine allows you to, you're very proactive in that moment, right? Like you're not reacting. You're not like all of a sudden, okay, 30,000 people just emailed me and I have to email them all back. You're allowed to just focus on you, and the world hasn't really started yet. So a solid morning routine is so, so key in balancing the different things that happen in the day as like busy working people that we are. So having a morning routine is really good. But then after that, how can we also include a lot more rest into the rest of the day as well is important. So another example that I work with my clients is, when you actually take a lunch break, what do? Do you actually step away from the computer? Do you actually allow yourself maybe to read a book or go on a walk or something like that? These things can really calm down that nervous system that's just feeling so pent up with stress. And I know a lot of what I'm saying sounds like common sense, but common sense is often the very thing we don't do, right? And so like taking a break in your lunch and actually stepping away and reading a book has actually been proven to relax you faster than almost any other activity. So stepping away from your computer and reading a book can be really key. And in addition to that, depending on what your lifestyle is and what your day looks like, incorporating other breaks into your day can be really paramount too. They say that you should actually get up from your wherever you're sitting or whatever you're doing about every hour and go stretch and go walk around. And so even setting little alarms on your phone can be helpful to incorporate more rest at the day. Because again, like I said, we have these adrenal overloads. We have these jam-packed days and it's just like go, 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 all these responsibilities, all these things I have to do. And then finally, it's the evening and I can drink and I can relax. What if we shifted how the day functions? What if we incorporated so much more rest into the day? And even if those breaks seem like, I can't handle that, I can't fit that into my day, how can we at least start with a morning routine that will leave you feeling so much more balanced at the end of the day? Then, when you do get home, when it is time for the evening time, there's so many other ways to kind of let go of the day. And what is interesting about drinking is that even though it might not be serving us, it really does function as a ritual. It's almost like you're telling your brain, now I can relax, now this part of the day is over, now I can slow down, and it's time to, ease into relaxation for the night. So it's like a ritual. It's almost as if the drink itself is a symbol for your brain to relax. Now, the drink itself doesn't really relax you. It's just numbing you for a little bit, and then it gives you more stress hormones later. So in the same lines, are there other rituals that you can start to incorporate into your life that will give your brain that same signal to relax? Now, they've actually studied this. They've put brain nodes one time on people who were sitting at a bar or a restaurant. So they're capturing their brain waves, they're seeing it on a computer, and everyone at the restaurant ordered a drink. And all of a sudden, all of their brain waves started to like mellow out. They started to like really relax and get more peaceful. Now, the irony of that test was these people did not actually drink the drink yet. They just ordered one. They just ordered one, and all of a sudden their brain relaxed. So what does that tell us? That tells us that the anticipation of relaxation, the anticipation of being able to let go, is far more critical than the actual drink itself. So having a good ritual will be super important for you to show your brain now is the time to relax. Now is the time to, like let go of the stress of the day. And what you actually do will be really unique for you, and you might want to experiment a little because everyone's very different. So I've worked with clients, for example, who have, after the working day is done, they have meditated. So instead of meditating in the morning, they will meditate for 10 minutes at the end of the workday. Now, for some of us, that could seem crazy. It's just like, what? I have all this other stuff to do. I have to make dinner. When am I going to meditate? I have kids. What are you talking about? So, that's just one idea. But another really powerful one that's really short is actually breath work. So do me a favor. If you're watching live or even if you're catching the replay, do this breath work thing with me real quick. I promise it'll be short, and I'm just trying to prove a point. So what I want you to do is breathe in twice through your nose and then let go out of your mouth. So it looks like this. And what this is, it's called child's breath. And it's called child's breath because if you have a children, or if you remember from when you were a kid, when we would cry, a lot of times our crying would go in the same pattern. It'd be like this, right? And it's actually a way that you can calm down your sympathetic nervous system, and it's really, really effective. And animals will do it too. So if you just sit with me and do this breathwork exercise for like 30 seconds, now, I think it's only been like 15 seconds that we've done this together, and already I can feel the state of my brain changing. Already my brain has been flooded with oxygen. I feel differently a little bit now. My internal, middle right here is tingling a little. My brain's just a little lightheaded, and I feel a little bit more loose in my body. Now, that's what I'm talking about, is this is 15 seconds of this breathing exercise that I did that completely changed the state of my brain. And the thing is that we are notoriously shallow breathers. We're not ever getting enough oxygen into our body, which leads to our sympathetic nervous system being just on fire all the time, instead of our parasympathetic nervous system coming in to calm us down. So even this exercise of breath work for 1 minute, maybe you get in your car if you're commuting for 1 minute, and before you start the car, you do 1 minute of that breath work exercise. Or maybe when you come home, or maybe, after you leave the Zoom room and you go into the bathroom for even just a minute and do this breathwork exercise. So again, these ideas are going to be super different for everyone. You might find something works for you and another thing you don't really like. So I'm just going to share a few others. So breathwork, though, can change the state of your brain and really change and allow you to have a ritual at the end of the day to let go of that stress of work. And what I'd really recommend is actually just finding a YouTube video, finding a little YouTube video of breath work and just following along for, the 5-10 minutes, whatever you have available for you. So try that. Another thing I really, really love is actually getting outside and watching the sunset. So depending on the time of year, the sunset might be, 4:30, 5:30, 7, 8, but it's often, in that evening time when we want to let loose and relax and kind of let go of the day's stress. So going outside for a walk or going somewhere that has a beautiful view and watching the sunset, for me, is one of the most soothing activities ever. But now what we're talking about again here is our sympathetic nervous system is on overload throughout the day. I've shared a little few tips on how to bring it back down, throughout your day. But now when you come home, especially, you want to have rituals and routines that really allow you to bring back down this overload, this adrenal overload you've had, and soothe yourself. And so watching a sunset is one of my favorite ways to soothe myself, because not only am I witnessing something beautiful in nature, It gets me outside of my head. I'm not really thinking about me anymore. I'm almost just like amazed that I live in this planet to begin with, and all the stress kind of melts away at that moment. Taking a walk could be a really good idea. Doing some exercise could be a really good idea. Again, depending on who you are. Maybe you're like, the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is exercise. But for someone else, that could be the perfect thing that they want to try. So exercise could be really good. Another really good one that's really easy is dancing. So our ancestors have been dancing all over the world ever since humans really evolved. And dancing is very primal, and it really helps us shake off pent-up energy and pent-up stress in our bodies. Now remember, your emotions are all hormonal responses in your body. So it's not just the things you think about, it's actually living stored in your body. So what I like to do is I'll put on a song, and I will, like a really upbeat song that really like I enjoy at that moment, and I will dance it out, maybe even just for a minute or two. I don't have to put on my sports bra. I don't have to put on my running shoes. I just do it in my living room and I just dance. So that can be a really good idea to like shake off those pent-up emotions. And the last one too is Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is a form of yoga where you're sitting in poses that really help you stretch. And when you stretch, you're releasing a lot of the tension you have in your fascial muscles, or in your fascia and in your muscles, and it also induces like the opioid receptors in our body to go into action. So it starts to like give us a feeling of relaxation. So stretching is a really good way to also have a ritual at the end of the day to really change the state of your brain and change how you feel. Now, this is the thing. Our bodies are capable of releasing so many different neurotransmitters and really feeling different ways. We have our own natural highs. We have dopamine, we have serotonin, we have oxytocin, we have GABA, we have all these different neurochemicals, that endorphins that exist in our bodies that we personally can do an activity to release them. And so sometimes the feeling you're hoping a drink can give you, something else can give you that feeling, something else can give you that buzz, something else can give you that relaxation. And it's just a matter of experimenting with those things. Like how do you feel after you get a massage? Do you feel super relaxed, right? Like this is what I'm talking about. There's other ways to induce the feelings that you want to feel. And so those are a few ideas, and I also am a huge proponent of just pouring another drink. So having a ritual where you still have a beverage at the end of the day. You pour it in a beautiful glass, maybe it's a hot tea, maybe it's a mocktail, it doesn't matter, but you still have this ritual where you get to just sit and decompress and have a beautiful drink as you really pass from the day to the evening. So those are some of the rituals that you can use. Towards the end of the night too, reading, like I said earlier, reading has been proven to actually relax the human brain more than a lot of other different modalities. Because think about it, when you're reading something, you're not also thinking about your own life. You're usually not like, oh, and I have to do this and this and this and this. You're kind of immersed in what you're reading. It's hard for your brain to think of like three things at once. So whatever you're reading is kind of what's captivating you in the moment. So, even having a way of reading for 20 minutes at the end of the day can be so helpful. And then lastly, I also highly recommend journaling. So journaling is a really great tool because when you want to numb stress, when you want for stress to, how do I make it go away? Oftentimes the stress is there for a reason. Stress is there to teach us things, to help us understand what we want in our life and what we don't want in our life. And so picking up a journal to start to kind of dissect what you're feeling and what you're going through the day can be so helpful. And so for example, like just even being able to like write your thoughts down in a journal releases them almost out of your brain and puts them on paper, and then you're a bystander to the stress. You're not the one experiencing it as much. You're the one who, oh, I wrote about it. Now it's captured in these pages. So even having a free write about how your day went, what's stressing you out, what's going on, how you're feeling, all of those things are beautiful things to journal about. And the thing that's so cool about journaling is that I fundamentally believe that we are not meant to live these hamster wheel style lives where we're just go all day and then we drink at night to relieve the stress. And then we go all day and then we drink at night to relieve the stress. Literally, you could do that for the rest of your life, right? Why are we so stressed out to begin with? And so a journaling process really can help you determine what in your life isn't aligned with your truest expression of how you want your life to go. Maybe the boss is really stressing you out, right? Maybe a boss is being overbearing. They're giving you a lot of work. They're not giving you more support, more team members, or more pay. And it's really getting you feeling resentful. And so until you actually journal it, until you actually uncover why you're so stressed, you're just going to be living with this stress every single day and trying to just do whatever you can to get through it. But if you actually journal through it and start to get to know why you're stressed or why you're feeling frustrated or why you're feeling angry, you can start to get clues about what you want to shift in your life. Okay, so now I know that there's an overbearing boss. Then you're like, now what, right? Now what do I do with that? Well, with the wisdom that you're leaning into with your intuition, maybe there will be a clue the next day. Maybe there's a new job opening in a different department, or maybe there's another position at a different company. Like there's always a way forward, right? There's always a way. Maybe there's just a conversation you need to have with the boss. So journaling is such a beautiful tool to just understand, why am I so stressed in the first place? Maybe it's like I go all day, in my job, and then I come home and it's all kids and I just have no time for myself. Well, is it possible like to have agreements like with your partner, if you have one, where he takes over nighttime duty a few days a week, Like there's just so many different ways that we can just make such small little shifts in our lives in order to honor the fact that we're not feeling our best in it, and how can we use these signals to actually make a change. Now, I'm not saying any of this is easy work. Absolutely not. It's hard work, and it's a really beautiful unfolding that happens when you start to discover, what do I like about my life? What do I not like about my life? How can I move more towards things that I want more of in my life? And how can I move away towards things I don't like? And it can be a very introspective process to work with a coach to help you do that, something like that. I've definitely done that with a coach myself, and I help all my clients do that as well. But the thing is that at the end of the day is that, yes, our modern lives are filled with stress, and there's all these different things and modalities that we can use to soothe ourselves. And this is all very scientifically based. It's not just, okay, like the hippies or the yogis do these kinds of things. We have an overactive sympathetic nervous system, and we need to be able to switch into our parasympathetic nervous system at the end of the day. And so there's different tools, modalities, and practices you can do to help your body do that, right? So it's not like this woo-woo thing. It really is something that we all need to learn how to have these healthy coping mechanisms and skills. And also, like, sometimes it doesn't have to be healthy. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, going on a run or doing, a beautiful journaling practice is great. But sometimes you just have one of those days and you just can't wait to plop and sit down and watch TV. Like, that's perfectly okay, right? And as long as, like, you're trying not to drink alcohol, like, make that the one thing you're trying to change, and don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about doing everything perfectly. If you want to sit and watch Netflix for 4 hours, go do that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's a good thing to do every single day, every single time you have stress, but it's okay to do those kinds of things. It's okay, especially when you're trying to not drink. Let that be the one thing you're trying to change, not every little thing in your life. So not everything has to be super healthy and productive either, right? But some of those more healthier things are the ones that just work better. They work better with whether it's breath work or stretching or yin yoga or watching the sunset or having a walk. All those things just work a little bit better to actually relieve you. We don't want to do them at first, right? At first we're like, no, thank you. I just want to do what's easy. But afterwards, we always feel better, right? And another one I didn't mention too is water therapy. So that sounds fancy, but all I mean is get your butt into a shower or into a bath, and you will feel so much better. So water therapy has been proven to be very effective in soothing us, but also the hot water also cocoons us, and we feel like comforted in the hot water. And I know a lot of clients of mine have actually, when they had cravings, they would go just take a shower, right? Because one, you usually aren't drinking in the shower, so it's like completely removes you from your environment. And two, you're giving yourself a really soothing practice to kind of wash off the day and really just cocoon yourself in some warm water. So there's all these different practices out there, and if you haven't already, check out my 50 things to do instead of drinking checklist, because around half of those things are like things you would do when you want to go out and maybe have fun, but the other half are all these things you can just do at home to just soothe yourself and really turn on your body's own relaxation mechanism. So I hope that was helpful. And lastly, I just want to say too, like when it comes to stress and it comes to not drinking, over time, for most people that I've worked with and most women that I've talked to, over time, the longer that you don't drink, when it comes from first it's a few days, then it's a few weeks, then it's a few months, you get better at handling stress. Like what used to be a mountain and just something that was just so overwhelming becomes easier. So emotional resilience is this idea that it's not that we necessarily have less stress in our lives, we are just more capable of handling it. Now, think of someone like really, really famous, like Tony Robbins. Very famous, very successful, right? He's got like 50 companies. So he has a lot of different companies. He's active and like the CEO of a few of them. And every single day, he probably gets like a zillion text messages, a zillion emails. Like has so much stress in his life, right? And he's also one of the more successful people in how to handle stress and how to live a really well-lived life. So it's not like he doesn't have the stress in his life. He has just built up his emotional resilience to handle it, and then has all these practices in his day to be able to calm down and really tap into his parasympathetic nervous system. So I just want you to trust that as well. Trust that the longer you don't drink, the easier it's going to be to handle the stress that does come up in your life. I'm not saying stress goes away, absolutely not. But when you're like in day 4 or day 12 versus when you're like a few months into it, you will handle stress differently. That is called emotional resilience, where you literally feel more capable of handling it. You have better boundaries. You know how to shift your attention. You know how to delegate. You know what matters, what doesn't matter. Like, you're just learning so much more about yourself and really leaning into yourself and leaning into like what's worth it, what's a priority in your life, and what doesn't matter. Some of the things that we get stressed about just don't matter, and sometimes we can just let them go, you know? Like, for example, having a clean house. Sure, it's nice to have, but like if that's stressing us out and it's another to do, like, does it really matter that for a week the floors weren't mopped or something like that? And we know we have different seasons of our life where some priorities will be more important to us than others. And it's okay to listen to yourself, and it's okay to listen to like what matters most to you and where you want to make little shifts in your life at the moment. So I hope that was helpful. And like I said, a lot of these ideas are included in the 50 things to do instead of drink checklist. If you haven't gotten that yet, you can get it for free when you pre-order my book. Sorry, when you order my book, it's already available. So be sure to get your copy of my book at euphoricbook.com. And then you can get the 50 things to do instead of drink checklist. And I list out a lot of them there, 50 things. So you'll have your hands full. And I just want you to remember, everyone is a little different. So you need to find what works for you. So there's a lot of ideas that I shared. And you might be like, Carolina, I am not working out at the end of the day. Like, I've got kids screaming around. There's just no time for that. I respect you. I understand you. There's other things that you can try. Some of them are very short. Some of them you could do in your car. Some of them, you know, you find the time to squeeze them in. And so it's really personal, and I just want you to experiment. I want you to really experiment with different practices. And the breath work that I led you through earlier, like, that can be a really effective, quick one to just change the state of your brain in that moment. And I want you to believe that you are far more capable of changing the way your body feels than alcohol is, okay? Alcohol does change the way your body feels, but then it brings you all these negative side effects. So there are so many different ways that you can personally change the way your body feels without those negative side effects. So I'm closing out now. Great to see you, Stacy. Good morning, everyone. And be sure to join me next week for the live at Wednesday, 8 a.m. And if you have any questions, if you're in one of my clients or you're a student, the questions live in the course itself, the course platform, and you'll get a reminder every Tuesday to ask your questions. So be sure to do so for next week, and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you're not a student or a client and you're interested, be sure to check out my webpage, euphoricaf.com, to see how you could work with me to really build this beautiful life that is not dependent on alcohol. It's dependent on your own beautiful wisdom, intuition, and strengths. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week.